Hey Dub, this is Dave Decide. Today I want to get into V and Jennie and why their translator was being brought up recently. We need to talk about people allegedly losing a lot of money from HYBE, and even Jung Kook talking about how he wants freedom. So, hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. Big Hit dropped something amazing today, which I love. I love when they drop things. They posted some of the behind the scenes clips of Jung Kook working on Left and Right. I didn't know initially if Charlie and Jung Kook were working together on this, like in person, or if it was done remotely, and looks like it was done remotely. And looks like Charlie did his vocal parts and then sent it over to Jung Kook to fill in his vocals. In the behind the scenes recordings, you could hear Jung Kook trying to make sure he was pronouncing the words perfectly, but overall it seemed like he didn't need much work to try to make the melody or work on his actual vocals, because those were perfect. Jung Kook continued to talk about how he is open to doing more collabs like this in the future, and he was really impressed to be working with Charlie, and he was just gushing like a fanboy. One of the most difficult things I can imagine being a celebrity is not taking what you read online with any sort of hard value. When Jung Kook reads headlines or fans telling him that Charlie Puth hates BTS, he needs to look at that and not take that seriously, but actually think about the relationship he has with Charlie and then determine if Charlie is a bad person off of the real in-person relationship, not what others say. And as you can see, nothing has changed for Jung Kook. He still very much loves Charlie. Jung Kook specifically mentioned how he admires Charlie currently trying to experiment with different styles, and Jung Kook mentioned that that is what he wishes to do. He wishes to be able to explore more of himself and try different styles of music. This is very exciting to hear, and he said that as long as he remains an artist, he will try to continue to make different music and try new things, and then asks us to look forward to that. And also that the song sounds like a very good driving song. I'm sure a lot of people right now are sitting in their song listening to it on the radio. Since it is in English, it seemed like it will get a lot more radio play. But going back a little bit, people did think it was interesting that Jung Kook was mentioning that he wanted to have the freedom to experiment more and do more. I think him doing solo work is a good thing and a good opportunity for him. I think he has a lot to offer as an artist and many different styles he could do. I feel like he is just coming into some of his own style and just coming into what he wants his music to sound like. I don't know if this is controversial, but I think Jung Kook's voice has changed a lot. His voice tone is different, he's very airy and light, and I think he worked to make his voice sound very pretty, which is beautiful, which also means we could possibly get more airy, light sounding songs. It was definitely a crazy time when BTS announced they would be adding solo activity to their group promotions, whatever that means. The announcement, in my opinion, felt a bit rushed and didn't make too much sense to me because I don't really understand what that means, but we will. What group activities will they add along with solo stuff? But after the initial announcement that RM made and allegedly said hiatus, the HYBE stock plummeted. It apparently dropped over 25%. Of course, everyone was freaking out. News covered this a lot because it was so shocking to see how heavily the company relies on BTS. And this is interesting because there's a theory on this. If you think about the fact that a lot of the investors were probably still holding on to their stock because they were thinking the members would go solo and were like, okay, go take your hiatus. And maybe they were betting on the solo members to increase the stock. So it's funny because if BTS and all the members announced that they were entirely quitting music, I think the stock would have dropped more, showing you how heavily they probably relied on BTS. Something interesting came out talking about Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber, who are big investors and stockholders of HYBE. They ended up getting over 50,000 shares of HYBE during the merge of Justin and Ariana's management with HYBE. So they actually ended up losing a lot of money. And so it's crazy to think that they just woke up one morning and those two people were just looking at their stock and being like, what happened? Or maybe they don't even check their own stock. I can imagine people like Bieber or Ariana would give their money to financial analysts and then just let them take the money and invest it, so they don't ever look at the money. But HYBE may bounce back. I don't have inside information, but I just know that the boys will perform well with their solo because it's BTS members, so I wouldn't necessarily be concerned with that. Things go up, things go down, things happen all the time. Not financial advice at all. People were not only talking about Jung Kook and the HYBE stock, but apparently V and Jennie began to be discussed once again. HYBE very quickly recently came out and denied rumors of RM and his marriage, but people have been complaining about why HYBE is so silent about V and Jennie's alleged dating. I do believe the alleged photo in question with V and Jennie is Photoshop, but there have been several moments and quote-unquote proof that the fandom had dragged up to prove that this dating is real. People really want to believe that V and Jennie are dating because there had been a lot of ships of this, but also this would make them such an amazing and huge power couple. Both huge and big celebrities came out together and people were hoping for cute interactions and cute fun moments that make you fangirl. But if you're interested in watching ship videos between BTS members members and cute moments to fangirl over. I have some ship reactions on my Patreon. You can fangirl with me. I will link my Patreon below. But anyway, people were stalking every person that V has interacted with and all that. It was alleged that V had come to Paris with a translator. The translator was obviously in charge of all the interactions that V had with all the moments, with all the models, club people, and anyone that V sat next to and needed to interact with. V had a bodyguard too. Perhaps the translator helped with that. But all of this, I want to clarify, is a rumor because there weren't any explicit videos of a girl speaking on behalf of V. It was just rumored that he would have one. But not only a translator, it was believed that it was a specific girl that had worked with all the BTS members. The girl's Instagram ended up being leaked, and people ended up following her to find out that she allegedly follows V and Jennie. The alleged translator's account is private, and I don't even know how they got her username or whatever, but people went hard with this and found out that Halsey apparently follows this girl. And we know that BTS is close with Halsey, but of course, how did they communicate? Probably with a translator. And so people really believe this account is the official translator and that this is supposed to be BTS's translator, who is allegedly also following Jennie, which proves that V and Jennie are dating. What if V and Jennie are just really good friends? What if they just like to hang out and be around each other because they're both artists and they like to get ideas from each other? V's style is very much softer and sometimes more feminine. What if he likes to get inspiration from someone like Jennie? Which would explain why he accidentally followed her and would also explain why they could possibly have so many connections or possible interactions together. I am here thinking everyone who makes eye contact with me is married to me, and then I see that people think V and Jennie are dating, and I'm like, wait, V and Jennie made eye contact with me in my dreams. They're clearly dating me. It's also very weird to say that if the translator was following both of them, which I cannot confirm because the account is private, but if the translator is following both of them, that means they're dating? Because these are some of the biggest stars in the world. Both of them have over like 40 million followers. Half of the other world is probably following both of them. And it's also weird to say that someone who could potentially be working for HYBE wouldn't be following all the celebrities and people under HYBE. Of course, as an employee of a company, you may have interacted with everyone. And yeah, Blackpink or Jennie wouldn't necessarily need an English translator, but that doesn't mean if you're an employee in the same building, you wouldn't run into these people and have a conversation. People were saying that V and Jennie were together in Paris. I don't think they were together during the Celine fashion show, as Jennie wasn't there. But people were saying that V was obviously just in Paris for the show, but that Jennie was obviously in Paris a couple months ago. And this means dating for some reason. There's videos of the two allegedly going to the same places and putting them together to say that that means dating. But that's probably just because they could have a similar staff who would just take them to the popular or fun spots. It doesn't mean that they're together. It means that they have similar tastes, which goes back to the idea that maybe this could be why V followed Jennie, because he was just inspired by her work. I believe he mentioned that he accidentally just hit the follow button when going through the suggested follow that Instagram gives. And since he said that, we can also believe that that was the reason and nothing more than that. But what do you think? Was V and Jennie together? I don't think so. How do you feel about apparently Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber losing money from HYBE? And what do you think about Jung Kook wanting more freedom to do his own stuff or collabs? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link down below. I think it's just a lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.